Hi, fifth grade Success Center. Good to see you again. We're going to be working in our packet again, and so I'd like for you to grab that and a pencil. If you don't have those items, pause the video and come right back. But we are going to be working on page 76, so make sure that you're on page 76. While you're getting there, I want to talk to you a little bit about going to use our cube strategies. It's really important because we're going to have multi-step problems today. And so we want to make sure that we're getting every step from the clues that our problem gives us. So remember our steps of circling, underlining, boxing, evaluating, eliminating, and especially showing your work. Yeah, one of the other things I want to bring your attention to are some of the words that we're going to be dealing with, or the vocabulary. And so, as we look through these, I want you to be watching out for some of these words. So what does sum mean? If you're finding a sum, you're adding. A difference. A difference means you're finding the difference between two things. That's a subtracting. Total. I think you know that one by now, guys. And altogether. Put everything together on that. Quotient, that's kind of a neat word, but quotient is a dividing word. It is actually the answer to a dividing problem. Sum is the answer to an adding problem. Difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. And product is the answer to a multiplying problem. So if you were finding multiplying, you would do a factor times a factor equals a product. Okay? And then each can be multiplying or it can be dividing. Depending on where the word each is found in the question is a good clue as to what you might be doing. So we're going to be needing some of this information as we read. So if you'll be on page 76, I'm going to come up and I'm going to make this problem kind of be right up at the top of our page here. Okay? Number 1, 2 jerseys appear below. Ramirez has an S on it. It says Johnson, and then it has a problem on it. 1/3 S, or that's 1/3 times S. Remember, if you have a number in front of a letter, it means that you need to multiply those two things together. And then we have a subtract 8 equals 7. So let's see what the problem wants us to do. It says, based on the information on each jersey, what is Ramirez's jersey number? Oh, so I need to figure out what S is. Okay, so if I'm looking here, I notice that there's an S in Johnson's number also. That means that to get Johnson's number, you would have to multiply it by 1/3. Then you'd have to subtract 8, and then it would equal 7. Okay? So to get, and Johnson's number is 7, all right? But to get Ramirez's number, okay, we're going to have to figure out what number could S be. What could it be? All right? Well, let's do a little bit of our cube strategy here. There's not a whole lot that we can underline and circle, but there's something that we can. So we know that we're trying to find Ramirez. Here's our clue. Okay, we have an S in this problem. And it says, based on the information on each jersey, what is Ramirez's jersey number? So this is the thing that we're trying to find. We're trying to find S. So I don't like having to do lots of substitution, but I'll do it if I have to. But if I look through this problem, I might be able to eliminate some things, okay? So if I look at this, if I did a 1/3 times S, I have to subtract 8 from it, and then that's going to give me a 7, okay? So I know if I multiply a fraction by a whole number, It makes my number smaller. So I have to remember that my number is going to get smaller once I multiply it by 1/3, not bigger. Multiplying by fractions makes things smaller. So if I look here, if I had a 5 and it got smaller with the 1/3, could I subtract 8 and get a 7? No, I'm not even going to consider that one, not unless I've done some terrible other things up here, okay? So if I look at 15, if I got littler than 15, because if I multiply by a fraction, things get smaller. And if if 15 was any littler, could I subtract 8 and get a 7? No, I can't. So I know I can't make 15 littler and still subtract 8 and get a 7. So the only two things I'm left with are 45 and 30. See how I thought that out? I had to understand my math to be able to do that. Okay, I'm going to scoot this up a little bit. I want you to take this equation and substitute in for S and then come back and let's find your answer. So right now, pause the video, see if you can find the ending answer, and then we'll talk about it together. All right, did you get an answer? So let's go through and I want to show you what I did. Okay, first thing I did was I knew I only had two numbers to choose from. I had a 45 and a 30. So I decided I would try the 45 first. And what I do is I make the S the number 45. And that's what I've done right here. So on here I have 1/3 times 45 minus 8 equals 7. So I'm hoping that'll work. But what I also had to remember was that this is now part of an order of operations problem. So I reminded myself about the order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. And y'all know I write that a little different than some of your other teachers, but we also know that we don't use exponents, okay? I didn't have any parentheses in this problem, but I do have a multiply and a divide, or a multiply anyway. And y'all know I put mine on a rocker there, and then an add or subtract. Well, I do have a subtract, so I know I'm going to have to do my multiply first. So I have to ignore that subtracting part of the problem for just a little while. So then I come here and I say, well, I don't like the way this looks because I'm multiplying a fraction times a whole number. So what I want to do is turn my whole number into a fraction. I put my own parentheses there. I didn't want to accidentally use that minus 8. Doesn't hurt to put my own parentheses in just to order my thinking. Then I come here and I had to change, and then I did my multiplying for this and multiply straight across. 1 times 45, 3 times 1, and then I got 45/3 minus 8. Well, this is an improper fraction. So what I did was I came over here and I turned my improper fraction. Okay, so I divided the 45 by 3 and got the number 15. So then this 45/3 becomes 15, and 15 minus 8 equals 7. I got lucky. I did it on my first try, my first guess. Okay, but if you had tried 30, it would have been 30 over the 3. This would have, instead of being 45 divided by 3, you would have had 30 divided by 3. And then that would have been 10 minus 8 is 2. So that wouldn't have equaled the 7 we wanted it to be. And I know I went through that kind of fast, but you should have gotten the answer A by substitution. And that's this is also one of those problems that you solve. It's called a guess and check. I'm going to guess what I think it is and check to see if it's the answer. And I eliminated 2 of the things I had to check just because I thought logically through the problem. And you can do that too if it occurs to you to do that sometimes. Okay, so let's go to number 2. It says, look at the equation below And it says 37 times 4 equals z minus 2/3. Right here, it's asking us which statement best explains the equation. Well, first of all, I better understand this equation. I see that there's an equal here. I want to understand that that's an equal. Okay, so I'm going to pick up and I'm going to circle that for sure. That I know that this has to be a balanced equation, that this side over here is going to equal this side over here. And it says that I have to choose which statement best explains this equation up here. All right. So I come here and I say A. The product of 37 and 4, well, I know this is a product, right? If I go back, product means multiply. Quotient means divide. Each, okay? It's maybe something we see. Sum, add, difference, subtract, total, add, altogether, add. Ooh, we're going to be using some of our vocabulary here. So I do know that 37 and 4 are going to make a product because it's a multiplying problem right here. Hey, this looks pretty good. Okay, and that's going to equal. Okay, so I have my times like it's supposed to be. I have my equals, some number plus 2/3. Oh, rats. Plus is an action word, but it's not what this action is. Can't use A, can I? B, the quotient, I can stop right there. Quotient means divide. There's no dividing here. I mean, there's a 2 divided by 3 here if you thought of it like that, but this is the quotient of 37 and 4. Quotients are divide. This is a multiply. Get rid of it. Okay, so C says the product, multiplying, of 37 and 4, I like it so far, equals 2/3 less than some number. Well, the 2/3 is behind this, but is it saying that 2/3 is getting subtracted from a number? So it would be 2/3 less than some number. And Z is some number we don't know what it is. This is probably what we're looking for, isn't it? Let's take a look at the last one. Some number minus 2/3. Well, that's what this is. Some number minus 2/3. This is looking good too. Equals, so we have a minus. This is all checking out here. We've got an equal sign here. The difference between 37 and 4. We weren't finding the difference. We were finding the product. Aha. So by reading carefully and knowing my vocabulary, I could pick out the correct answer. And I know I didn't have you do that one by yourself, but I thought it would be important to show you how you pick through the vocabulary of a problem. And for our final problem, we only have 3 this week. Okay, so we're on number 3 now, and remember we are working on page 76. So, number 3. Ryan spent $7.22 on apples and 1 watermelon. So that means he did that for both of those together. Okay. Apples cost $1.19 per pound, and watermelons cost $4.50 each. Ryan had a coupon for 85 cents off his total purchase. Which equation can be used to find P, the number of pounds of apples he bought? So let's go up here and let's do some thinking first. This could get really confusing. So Ryan spent $7.22. Now that's his total, okay? So I'm going to remember up here, he spent a total of $7.22. Now he did, the total includes apples and 1 watermelon. They go on to tell us that when you buy apples, that 1 pound, when it says per, that means 1 pound, and I'm going to abbreviate pounds, of apples equals $1.19. So make that a little bit bigger. So it equals $1.19 if you buy 1 pound. And that is for our apples. And the watermelon costs exactly $4.50 each, and we know that he bought 1. Or I guess Ryan could be a girl too. Okay, so 1 watermelon, and we know he spent $4.50, or she. Ryan had a coupon for 85 cents off. Oh, it does say his right here. His total purchase. Oh, so if you have a coupon, do you add that or subtract that? I'm going to circle it. I'm going to put a little line out here. We're going to be subtracting that 85 cents. Ooh, I wrote that tiny, didn't I? So you're going to be subtracting the 85 cents. I'm going to make that 0 a little bit bigger there. Okay. And that's off his total purchase. It didn't say it was off the apples. It didn't say it was off the watermelon. It said when you put that purchase together, it was off the total purchase. So we're going to have to pick through that information. It says which equation can be used to find P, the number of pounds of apples he bought. Okay, so pause the video, figure out which one of these is saying exactly what we thought through. So do that now. All right, let's look. I don't have the answer yet, but let's look and see how I thought through this. Okay, so I have my apples here. Okay, they cost $1.19 per 1 pound. I'm going to take off 85 cents later. Okay, and then I have 1 watermelon in there. So if I just kind of sort of think through this, I know that I have to put my apples with my watermelons, and that gives me a price. Then I take off the price of the coupon. I'm going to put C for coupon, and then I end up paying a total of $7.22. So I need something that looks kind of like this. Okay, when I come over here, right away I notice that I have a plus 85. Never am I going to, I'm never going to add an 85. I'm going to eliminate that one right away. Okay. Then I'm going to come over here and I see a minus 85, but it's stuck with pounds, or the price per pounds. We didn't get 85 cents off of the price per pounds of apples. This coupon is not for the apples. It's for the total. It's off of the end of the total price. Okay? I'm not taking it away from the price of the apples. I'm getting rid of that one. That one doesn't even make sense. Well, this one looks just like it. It doesn't make sense that just my price for my apples gets 85 cents off. No, it said that it was 85 cents off his total purchase. So here's my total purchase. The price of my apples was way up here. My subtracting has to come off of the total. Can't be this. But let me see if I'm thinking right, okay? So if I have how many pounds of apples I have, and I multiply that by $1.19, I'm going to have the price of my apples, aren't I? Okay. Then I add a watermelon for $4.50, and then in the end, I subtract the 85 and then get my 722. That's how we find the answer to that one. Sometimes you have to make sure that your thinking process is exactly matching what they give you as answer choices. All right. Well, this is the last one for this video series for this week of April 27th through May 1st. I've noticed that I have more people on Study Island, but not everyone has been on Study Island this last week. I want to make sure that you know that my expectations are 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes a week on Study Island. Like to see some more blue ribbons happening. And guys, y'all have a reading and a science account on Study Island, so I'd like for y'all to take advantage of all of that. Make sure you're visiting that Study Island for math, reading, or science. I'll let your reading and science teachers know you're on there if you're doing that too. Well, I hope you have a great week, and I hope you do a little bit of math, and I hope you visit that Study Island. Miss you guys, but I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye for now.